persecutions. The last prophet in this day and time, Prophet Noah Ali. I give honors to Prophet Noah's second and third form. I give honors to Grand Sheikh Timothy half of Noah Ali. I greet the greeting words of peace, Islam, and Grand Sheikh K. You said that.
Islam.
Peace, Islam. This demonstration is about Allah. And who is Allah? What is Allah? Because I was inspired to do this demonstration because last week we was talking to a brother, and the brother was saying that Allah is Allah, the moon, and all these different things, and I realized a lot of Moors are really kind of confused when it comes to certain things, and sometimes we deal so much with esoteric information is that we get confused and we get caught up in some form of idolatry to a degree. So we got to begin to understand that we study these different sciences, but we don't make these sciences Allah. It be to the point that some people study astrology so much that they have astrology govern their life instead of them being the masters of astrology. They make astrology be a masters of them, and they become their God. They begin to replace Jesus Christ from church with astrology, and it substitutes it because we don't want to depend on ourselves. We want to look for something else to guide our lives. Should we study that science? Yes, because we're not limited. But should we make it our God? No. And that be the problem sometimes. So, give me the big Quran, chapter 112, from 1 to 4. Verse 1 to 4.
Surah 112, ayat 1 through 4. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Say, He is Allah, the one and only, Allah, the eternal absolute. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him.
So the big Quran of Mecca is saying that there's none like unto Allah. So we have nothing to compare with Allah. Allah did not stop with the completion of the creation. He left the essence of His being in every atom of His creation, and without Him nothing exists. The all is incomprehensible, for only He can comprehend Himself. He, Allah, is not a body endowed with a form, nor a substance circumscribed with limbs or determined by measure. Nor does He resemble bodies as they are capable of being measured or divided. Neither does He sustain existence in Him. Neither is He like unto anything that exists. Neither is anything like Him. So we cannot comprehend Allah. His essence exists within everything, but yet there's nothing like Him.
Islam.
So when we even try to explain what Allah is, you can't. Because if you're able to explain what Allah is, then that's not Allah. Give me the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 8, verse 6 to 11.
Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 8, verse 6 to 11. Allah lives not in the noise of tongues. There is no way to Him from any idol shrine. Allah's meeting place was the man with man is in the heart, and in a still small voice He speaks, and he who hears still will. And all the people said, Teach us to know the Holy One who speaks within the heart, Allah of the still small voice. And Jesus said, The holy breath cannot be seen with mortal eyes, nor can men see the Spirit of the Holy One. But in their image man was made, and he who looks into the face of man looks at the image of Allah who speaks within. And when man honors man, he honors Allah, And what man does for man, he does for Allah. Islam.
So this means that those looking to the face of man who look at Allah with it mean that because we have Allah's essence, we have the breath of life that exists in us. It doesn't mean that we are Allah. We are Elohim. We
Islam.
could be gods or judges, but we can never be Allah. Islam?
Islam.
Give me the Big Quran, chapter 2, 180, 138. Amir, I might need you. Are you busy?
No.
So I can just do this quick fast.
Surah 2, ayat 138.
Give me Exodus 20, 26. Yeah, right.
Our religion is the baptism of Allah, and who can baptize better than Allah? And it is He whom we worship.
Islam.
Islam.
So we need worship
Islam.
Allah. Give me Exodus 20, 26.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 26. Neither
My
shall,
bad. Verse 22 to 6.
verse 20, verse 2 to 6. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down to thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them as them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So we see so far that the Big Quran of Mecca, the Moorish Quran, and the Exodus, which is in the Torah, is all coincide with one another as far as worshiping Allah alone, not having no idols and set partners with the Creator. Islam?
Islam.
Give me what you got.
Surah 4, ayat 48. Allah forgiveth not that partners should be set up with him, but he forgiveth anything else to whom he pleaseth. To set up partners with Allah is to devise a sin most heinous indeed. Islam.
So can we set partners with Allah?
No.
We cannot set partners with Allah.
Islam.
Islam? Allah is near to man than the vein in his neck, and is a witness to everything. Through him, the nearness is not like the nearness of a body. He is the high to be continued in one place, and the holy to be subjected to change. He makes the change. He Allah, praise be his name. Allah is not God. Now this is going to be very shocking to a lot of wolves.
Islam.
And some of us know this degree. But Allah is not God. Now the prophet says, our Father God Allah, because during the time the prophet came, we was not familiar with the term Allah. We were familiar with the term God, so you had to say our Father God Allah. But one time I was talking to a sister who was a Muslim, and she read it, and she said, why would you say God Allah when Allah and God is the same thing? That's like saying our Father God God. So I said no, because we was not familiar with the term Allah at that time. He had to attach the term God to it so we could know that Allah and God is synonymous on that degree. But as we develop in our understanding, we understand that God and Allah is not the same.
Islam.
Now, can we prove that God and Allah is not the same? Allah is not God, the supreme being. According to Webster's, a being is any living thing or person. Allah is definitely more than just a thing. So, according to Webster's dictionary, God is a supreme being, and that being is any living thing or a person. Allah is definitely more than just a thing. Allah can neither be a supreme person or a person is identified by a physical body. Give me the Moorish Quran, chapter 8, verse 39. So we are saying that Allah cannot be God because God is a supreme being, and a being is any living thing or a person. Allah is definitely more than just a thing. Allah can neither be a supreme person or a person is identified with a physical body. And we know that Allah is beyond a physical body.
Islam.
Verse 13.
Moorish Quran chapter 8, verse 39. No 39? Okay, I gotta get back to that. All right, thanks, man. The Creator took, those who believe that the Creator, Allah, took a shape in a body, much also believe that scientists, mere men, have complete knowledge of the nature of the universe. Allah didn't have a body. If the body exposed to a degree of heat, the blood will boil and therefore immobilize the body. If exposed to extreme pain, it may become too unbearable for the senses, and the body may become dead, or all senses, whether it be in a state of shock or death. So Allah cannot take on a body, because this body could be subjected to death, pain, and so forth.
Islam.
And if Allah could take on a body that could be subjected to death and pain, then how can Allah be Allah? So Allah is not God according to the definition, because God is a supreme being. A being is a living thing or person, and is identified with a physical body. Allah is not a thing, because the thing could be anything. That chair could be a thing. That car could be a thing. So you cannot associate Allah with a thing, because then you're making Allah other than Allah.
Islam.
You cannot say Allah is a supreme being, because a supreme being is a person, and a person is subjected to having a physical body that could be subjected to death, that could feel pain. So Allah is Allah. And when you really study Arabic, Allah does not mean God.
Islam.
Allah just means Allah. But we use the term God because that's something that we are familiar with, but we have to begin to elevate and understand that Allah is not God. Allah is Allah. Because we see what the definition of God is come to Western Dictionary, and Allah is beyond that.
Islam.
So us more should begin to get out the word, using the word Allah. I mean God. We have to use the term God amongst our people who are lost, but amongst ourselves we should be using the term Allah more.
Islam.
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 Not only are these things evident of the impossibility of the Creator, Allah being a person, but a person could be stabbed or shot or ran over. A person could be wounded or killed. So you see no man that the final answer. The idea of the Creator Allah of all having a flesh and bone body is purely ridiculous.
Islam.
This is purely ridiculous. You know, I give honors to my brothers from the Nation of Islam. I grew up in the Nation of Islam, but they believe that God is a man named W.D. Farah Muhammad. And I believed that at one time as a child. But W.D. Farah Muhammad is subjected to pain, he's subjected to death, he's subjected to all these physical things that Allah cannot be subjected to, because Allah is the all, and the all is all powerful, almighty. We can't associate any partners with the all, with Allah.
Teach.
But you know, what we gotta understand, that the belief that Allah or the Creator of all life can't do anything is also incorrect. Now this may sound kind of weird. I'm telling you that the all-powerful, almighty Allah cannot do everything or anything. But does this sound like a contradiction? If I'm saying that God is all-powerful and almighty, but I'm saying that Allah cannot do anything, or everything. The thing the Creator cannot do, the ability to regress. Allah cannot become less than himself, otherwise he will no longer be Allah.
Teach.
Allah cannot regress. Because if Allah regresses, then how can Allah be Allah? Allah cannot regress.
Islam.
Man is the image and the likeness of Allah without the divine qualities. If anything was taken out of Allah, it would not be Allah. When you give me, you don't have to go to key 1 and 2. It says, who's Allah? Allah is the Father. Can you see him? No. You can meet him in the heart. We cannot see Allah. Islam?
Islam.
Now, we as Moors, we are not limited, and we don't want people to associate us with Orthodox Sunni Islam. Because we are Muslim, people want to put us in that kind of bag and connect us with that. We are not that. Our Islamism goes back beyond Prophet Muhammad and beyond Orthodox Islam. Islam? So we will study something called the 7 Hermetic Principles. Now, give me the Moorish Quran, chapter 10, verse 14 to 19, before I go into the 7 Hermetic Principles.
Islam.
Holy Moorish Quran, chapter 10, verse 14 through 19. This universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune Allah. One sees him as Allah of might, another as Allah of thought, another as Allah of love. A man's ideal is his God, and so, as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of Allah he sees, and this to him is all of Allah. And every nation sees a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Brahmins call him Parabrahm, or Parabrahm.
Parabrahm.
In Egypt he is Thought.
Stop right there. In Egypt, he's what?
Thought.
What is the Greek name for that particular deity?
Toph. 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 The Hui.
No, Hermes.
Thank you.
Hermes Trismegistus.
So, Hermes is thought. So, which in Egypt was a scribe, which in Hebrewism could be connected with Moses and scribe and writing. So if we see that name is mentioned in our Moorish Quran, should we begin to study that particular deity and see what's connected to it? And that's what we'll find about the 7 Hermetic Principles.
Islam.
Islam? So you can sit down. The 7 Hermetic Principles is mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, the principle of gender, which is 7. Now, 7 is a significant number. Go to our key 70, 97, and to 101. Whoever can get it first.
Let me just take off.
Yeah.
72.
71 to 101.
Okay.
The last question.
Can the higher self pass away?
97 to 100.
97. Excuse me. Who is Elohim?
Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and ever more to be.
So we got 7 creative spirits. We got the 7 Hermetic Principles. They go to 7 again. 7 is very significant here. Keep on going.
What is Elohim sometimes called?
The 7 eyes of Allah.
Of Allah. Or Allah. How many days are in the circle?
7 days.
How many days are in a creation?
7 days.
According to science, how many days are in a year?
7 days.
So we got the 7 Hermetic Principles. Our prophet Noble Drali is bringing up 7 several times, showing a connection with the 7. The god Thor is mentioned as the god of Egypt, which we know is Hermes. So you gotta understand that during the time the prophet Noah is giving us this demonstration, he's tracing us back to our ancient ancestors.
That's wrong.
The principle embodied the truth that the all, Allah, is mine. It explains that the all, which is the substance reality underlying all the outward manifestation and appearance which we know under the term of the material universe. If you read the Moorish Quran, chapter 1, this is dealing with the seven Hermetic principles.
That's wrong.
Let's read some of chapter 1.
Moorish Quran, chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thought of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite.
What did we say earlier? Can man comprehend and understand the all Allah?
No.
Continue.
All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yea, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Creative fate gave to man, or spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest?
That's long. Wait 1 second. So this is dealing with the basic principles of the seven Hermetic principle. Mentalism. Everything is from a thought of Allah. Can you drop down to it says, and man is the thought of Allah and all thoughts?
Man is the thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come, and so is the man, the spirit man.
That's good, thank you. So now we understand that this is in continuity with mentalism, that the universe is mind and the mind is all. And everything was thought manifested from the mind of the or the creator.
Islam.
So all the Hermetic believers and teach that the all is itself must ever be unknowable. They regard the all as but the childish effort of the mortal mind to grasp the secrets of the infinite. So they understood that you cannot comprehend or grasp the infinite. This is in continuity with the Prophet Noah in the first chapter.
Teach.
So you cannot put us in the bag with the Orthodox Islamic world. This is beyond what they're talking about. This is talking about the science. This is going back to ancient Kemet. That's why I don't understand where our brothers very deep into Egypt pick up this Moorish Quran and have a problem with it because they're using the name Jesus in it. Let's put the name Jesus aside and let's look at the principles that's within this pamphlet.
Teach.
Because it coincides with Kemetic science.
Oh.
So as me coming up in Moorish science and studying Egypt, and when I got the Moorish Quran, I saw the connection right away. So it really bugged me out when other people study these different ancient sciences and can read this Moorish Quran and don't see the connection with it. Because it's obvious. The All Allah is infinite living mind, illuminating core its spirit. The All cannot transform or subtract a portion of itself, nor can it reproduce or multiply itself in the first place. There would be a taking away and and the second cause of multiplication or addition to. The all, both thought being a absolute, and there no third in the creation, mentally. And in so doing, he used no outside material, nor does he reproduce himself, or yet his spirit prevails the mental creation, the material creation. The all cannot create, nor the all can create in no other way except mentally, without either using the material, and there is none to be used, nor else reproduce itself, which is also impossible. The all, Allah, create the universe in its own mentally. The all is mind. The infinite mind of Allah is the womb of the universe.
Islam.
So the infinite mind of the all of Allah is the universe, and the all of Allah cannot multiply itself, subtract from, take away from itself, because it will not be the all. So the universe, which is the womb of the universe, which of the mind of the all, is a mental projection that comes from the mind of the all. Yet we are part of all, but yet we're not the all. You have the sun, you have the sun rays that come from the sun. The rays are part of the sun, but it's not the sun. We are part of Allah, but yet we're not Allah.
Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Mentalism is all is mind, and the universe is mental. Correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. So we can never understand Allah or comprehend Allah, but through the law of correspondence, we can kind of have an idea or get an understanding because of the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So what we have to begin to do, we have to begin to study ourselves, and then we can understand Allah, know thyself and thy Father God Allah.
Islam.
We get an understanding of Allah, and I would get into that. Can we comprehend Allah? Not, but we could get some type of understanding through the law of correspondence. Vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Give me the Moorish Quran, chapter 11, verse 19 to 28. Remember, you got the third vibration. Nothing rests, everything is moving, everything vibrates.
19 to 28.
Yeah. Chapter 11, 19 to 28.
Oh, just one?
From Allah's own record book, we read, the Triune Allah breathed forth and stood 7 spirits his face. The Hebrews call these 7 spirits Elohim. And these are they who, in their boundless power, created everything that is or was. These spirits of the Triune Allah moved on the face of boundless space, and 7 others were, in every other hand, its form of life. These forms of life were but the thought of Allah, clothed in the substance of their ether planes.
The thought of Allah, ether planes. This is not ancient Hermetic.
Islam.
Keep continue.
Men call these ether planes the planes of protoplast, of earth, of plant, of beast, of man, of angel, and cherubim. These planes, with all their teeming thoughts of Allah, are never seen by eyes of man and flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshy eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things. And with the eyes of soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all the forms of life. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Allah, all creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. And in the native planes, all creatures are supplied with nourishment from the ethers of their planes. And so it was with every living thing until the will became a sluggish will. And then the ethers of the protoplast, the earth, the plant, the beast, the man, began to vibrate very slow.
Vibrate. Is this the third principle in Hermetic sciences? Vibration. When you vibrate at a rapid speed, it cannot be perceived by the physical eye. But when it begins to vibrate very slowly and it becomes condensed, now it could become perceived by the physical eye. So how can somebody who study Kemet read this and study the 7 minute principles and have a problem with this in the principle? Because it says these are for those who love Jesus.
Islam.
But what's the principle in this pamphlet?
Teach.
The third is vibration. The fourth is polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has a pole. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are those same opposites. The identical, are identical in nature, but different in degrees. Give me the Moorish Quran, chapter 3, verse 5 and 7. See, we're going to deal with this Moorish Quran or Quran because this is definitely ancient science in this Moorish Quran.
Islam.
There are two selves, the higher and lower self.
Two cells. What is the law of polarity? Everything has a dual. Everything has a pole. Everything has its pairs of opposites, like and unlike. So this is what? The fourth Hermetic principle. And what does the prophet says? We will say more.
There are two selves, the higher and lower self.
Is this duality?
Islam.
Continue.
The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of higher self distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah in man and will not pass away.
Islam. So this is the dual nature that's in man, but it's only different through degrees. So you study the Hermetic principles of polarity, we know that hot and cold is only different through a matter of degree.
Islam.
It's only a matter of the degree of hot and cold that makes it any different, but it's the duality or the polarity of the two. Islam.
Islam.
You have rhythm, which is the fifth. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tide. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swinging, manifesting in everything. The measure of the swinging of the right is the measure of the swinging of the left, which is rhythm. So everything has a rhythm. You can find this in the Moorish Quran, dealing with the rhythm and vibration. This is all in the Moorish Quran. The 6 is cause and effect. Everything cause. Everything has its exact cause and effect. Everything happiness according to law. Chance is but the name of law, not regarding there are many planes of cause and effect, but everything, but nothing escapes the law. So you have cause and effect, nothing escapes the law. You have gender. Gender exists in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Islam?
Islam.
But Allah's transcendent of all is beyond gender.
Teach.
See, the prophet usually says the father of the universe because, first of all, we were coming from the Bible, which refers to the Most High as the Father. And in our society, father plays a prominent role. So you understand that a father is a provider, a father is a protector. So when you understand the place or the role of a father, when he says Father Allah, we understand the role that Allah plays with us.
Islam.
But Allah is beyond even that.
Islam.
But he has to speak a language for us to understand. So he says Allah, the Father of the universe, because we understand what a father's duties are, and we understand what Allah's duty is for us. Islam?
Islam.
In allegory, the Bible says, he carried me away in the spirit, a trance, to be great of a high mountain, man's head, and showed me the great city, man, the holy Jerusalem, descended out of the heavens. Give me Revelation chapter 21, verse 10. So now we're going to understand how we are connected to Allah. I'm not going to go into all of this. I need to stop now, basically.
Revelations 21, verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a mountain great and high.
All right, so the spirit is a trance to a great and high mountain, which is man's head. Continue.
And showed me the holy city, Jerusalem,
Which is man, which is the mind.
coming down out of heaven from God.
It's long. In all creation, there is nothing higher than the human head. Man's feet rest upon the earth, but his head, symbolically speaking, reaches up to the clouds. Nor is there anything in the world that is holier than man, for within him is the kingdom of Allah, making him the temple of Allah, and in Allah he lives and moves and has his being. Give me Luke chapter 17, verse 21, and you could give me Acts chapter 17, verse 28.
Ready?
Yeah,
The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 28.
27.
27?
No, the 20, right.
Okay, verse 27. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring.
It's long.
It's long.
Luke chapter 17, verse 21.
27.
Excuse me, verse 27. People were eating, drinking, marrying, and being given in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came and destroyed them all.
That's Luke chapter 17, verse 27.
Yeah.
Okay. Therefore, look not for anything holier than man. Man is the microcosm of the macrocosm. He is a miniature universe contained with him in some form or other. According to the Bible, everything continues in the universe, whether it be force or substance. Here, man is in fact as well as a fable or organized universe. The holy Jerusalem that descends from the celestial world, his eternal home, is the great universe. There are countless revolving planets, suns, and stars. So in man there are numerous atoms revolving around the center as far apart from one another as the stars are from one another, relatively speaking. So man is the microcosm of the macrocosm, and since his body consists of or made up of atoms, which is protons, neutrons, and electrons, and is rotating around resembling a tiny solar system, he is the this is as above, so below. This is the law of correspondence. This that exists. A single cell of man's body is a miniature universe in itself, for everything is a great universe, has it correspondence in man's body, active and past, knowing or unknowing. In the city, man's body had no need for the sun, neither for the moon to shine in it. For the glory of Allah did light it, and the gates of the offices of the body shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night therefore in the body. This is in Revelation chapter 21 to 23 and 25. So this is talking about man's body. So when one is looking for all these type of things to come down in the sky and all these type of things, it's really dealing with the self.
It's long.
Give me the Moorish Quran chapter 7, verse 28 to 31. And I'm going to close out to next week so she can make it come on.
Chapter 7.
Verse 28 to 31.
It has 3 steps. Belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is truth. And faith is next, and this is what man knows is truth. Fruition is the last, and this is man himself, the truth. Belief is lost in faith, and in fruition, faith is lost. And man is saved when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah are one.
So this is what we're trying to achieve, deific life, to become one with Allah. So we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are a tiny solar system that resembles the great solar system, that Allah is in us, that we are part of Allah, but yet we are not Allah. We want to become one with Allah. And when I continue this demonstration, I'm going to go into the science of how our ancient ancestors, the ancient Moabites, they became in tune with Allah through certain meditations and practices, that they became one with Allah. Because this is the mind of the ancient ones. We want to have desires, not to have no more desires.
That's all.
With that, I say peace.
Peace.